And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Hockey Princess. We have Chris, the old guy. Guys, we finally have hockey to talk about. It's a great day. Before we get into Chicago stuff, got some stuff in the NHL in the world. First being, and Krusty's very excited that this is the last time for a while that I can bring it up, but Jeremy Swayman finally signed with the Boston Bruins. It is an 8.25. So big contract for Jeremy Swayman. We all know I'm a firm believer of Jeremy Swayman should get the money, and I love it for him. I think definitely getting above the 64 million reasons to play that Cam Neely alluded to last week was definitely a little icing on the cake.
Yes, he's 66.
Exactly. So I think it's great for Boston, great for him, especially because I know it's only the first game, but Korpisalo didn't look great the first game against Florida, so it's a good thing that they have Swayman signed.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad all that stuff's over with. Now we can just go back to hating Boston.
Exactly.
And then since he signed his hockey life partner got to sign, so
exactly.
all is right with the world.
Contracts. Another 8.25. Don't believe for nearly as long, but still 8.25 mil per year for Linus Ullmark with the Ottawa Senators. This makes sense to me. Doesn't Linus Ullmark deserve 8.25? To be determined, but do the Ottawa Senators have enough money to shell out quite a bit of money for their top goaltender? Absolutely they do.
Ullmark, it was 4 years, so he'll be 32 when this thing starts. Do they have a lot of money? That's debatable.
Well, they're not in like cap hell.
No, but they're somewhat close to it. They've got a lot of people making 8, 9. So a couple that aren't doing much that are making that much. Their problem is they're Ottawa. They're gonna have to overpay for somebody to stay there. They know that. So at least this one's done. It's signed up. We'll see if Ottawa finally can become a playoff threat.
Gosh, I hope not. Then my NHL predictions are just way off.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's one of Krusty old guy's teams that he always thinks. So we'll see if Ullmark can get it done or if it's just, the fact that he had Boston in front of him. Yeah. But let's carry on with the signings.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious because you know more about Ottawa's cap situation. There are a lot of people that are getting 8 or 9 that don't do a ton, but are they 8 or 9 mil with a long-term contract, or are they, potentially money could clear up in like 2 years?
Well, they've got 3 forwards that are at the 8 mil for a little while. One of them is Brady Tkachuk, so you need to re-sign him.
Yeah, and
then they've got 2 defensemen at 8. So, cap hell, no.
But it's nothing that's getting cleared out soon.
No, but in order to be competitive, they'll need to sign a couple more people. They should be okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm sure they've got another 3 years of Brady. So, at the end of the day, that'll be a big one when that comes up. But no, I don't think this, as you stated, I don't think it breaks them. And gosh darn it, they needed a goaltender.
Right.
And they couldn't risk actually getting off to a good start and then him just going to UFA. So you've got to overpay. It's just the position they're in. So
makes sense. Going to the next signing, we've got Joey Daccord from the Seattle Kraken signing a 5-year contract. Love this one. love this for Seattle. Yes, I mean he's not their number one right now, but I mean they needed to get him signed. I'm a big fan of him. I liked what hit the progress that he made last year, um, and Seattle needs people long term. I mean they're starting to do that with some of the signings that they did in the offseason. But I feel like there's also a decent amount of their roster that are more transitional players that are only going to be there for the next couple of years. And they need to start looking at who could potentially be on this team more long term.
Yeah. So you're a Joey guy.
I liked him.
So was he in that yesterday?
Yes.
He was. Okay. So yeah, I believe he is their starter. He took over the job last year. I'm not sold on him. Again, 5 mil if he produces this year. 5 mil is a good price then.
Right.
So another good gamble, but they had to do something. Grubauer there has just been awful. So they needed to make a commitment to him. So, and again, you're better off getting this stuff done. So,
Yeah. And we've got a massive contract for Mr. Carter Verhaeghe with the Florida Panthers. Massive ish. Is it 8x7 or a 7x8?
I think it's a 7x8, if I am not mistaken. Let's get on the board and double check her.
I know it's both of those numbers, but in which order? I have no idea.
Yeah, 8 years at 7 mil.
Good for him. Good for Florida. They needed to lock Verhaeghe down.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, regardless of age, I mean, he is a core piece, or was a core piece during the postseason, and is a core piece of that Florida roster. If Florida is planning to essentially run the same roster, which I mean, minus like Ryan Lomberg and Brandon Montour, it seems like pretty much they're running as much of last year's group as they can. And if that's their motive until it stops working, then yeah, you're going to want to re-sign Verhaeghe.
Yeah, the only problem with that is Verhaeghe's never been a top 6 player. He's played well in the playoffs, but he's usually a third liner. For me, it's where is Sam Bennett in all of this then? If you're giving Verhaeghe 7, I mean, Sam's going to want at least 9 or 10. So for Florida, if we skip this year, there's no way Ekblad and Sam Bennett come back.
Right.
So maybe they just let both of them go. I doubt it. They'll try to do something with Sam, but I would assume Ekblad is gone.
Yeah. I figured he was gone anyway.
Yeah.
Next bit, out of Toronto, we have a little goalie change. Wool is out for the start of the season. It looks like Anthony Stolarz will be in instead, starting off the beginning of the season.
Correct. And they played tonight.
I think so.
I believe they played tonight, and he gave up 1 goal, and that was enough to lose.
Woof.
Yeah, I believe
it's better than, gosh, this Ranger-Pittsburgh game is quite fun. You are correct. But he gave up 1.
He gave up 1.
From Mr. Cole Caulfield. Which, if you're going to give up 1, it's going to be 1 to that kid.
Well, an assist by 1 Kirby Dach. That's right.
He's back.
So, 45 shots on net for the Toronto, and they couldn't put it in the net. So, I don't know exactly what's up with Wall, but that's a decent showing by Stolarz. So, we'll see. I'm sure the sky will be falling in Montreal or Toronto soon.
Yeah, I'd give it like 3 days. Let's see. Chris,
Yes, you have froze there for a second, Hockey Princess. So I'm going to just start talking. But our other person that we had talked about was Yusei Sorrows, as far as he's got some form of ailment. We don't know when he's actually going to be playing. So no goals is a no go for now. I don't know if you're continuing or if I'm continuing with the show. Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. I just got from our technical link. I don't know what's happening either. I'm just going to continue on. So Juice, we are unsure of exactly what is wrong with him. So we might be restarting this show. We might not be. Right now, we're still recording. You just get me, which, is a pretty good thing to get. Okay. The other thing, I believe that's it for the injuries. We had a tiny bit of Goldie drama. Just basically for Shesterkin, the beginning numbers are out as to what he has turned down. So, and the word on the street is he turned down 11 mil for 8 years. What I had heard, what the insiders were saying is they were saying figure 4 mil above Swayman. So you're probably looking at a 12 something. I would assume if he comes in at 12, he will be okay with that. Again, if you're the Rangers, you're kind of stuck in the middle. You really can't trade him. You really need to sign him. You're positive the team goes to shit if you don't. So you don't have a ton of leverage. You just hope that you appease him to the point where, hey, fair market value will be 12. Don't hold our feet to the fire and make it more. So that's the only other tidbit about the NHL. We've got one game in the books. We are going to talk about Rockford also, if Hockey Princess makes it back. We can. What else could we talk about? Dead air. Dead air is not good. Not good at all. As I told everybody, the new CD is out. HWKY, all capital letters, 25. And you can listen to what we listen to towards the game. And I guess this is a good time to also tell all the listeners, if you are going to opening day, we are in section 330. Come by, say hi. Also, we will be going to the Mexican restaurant at Ogden and Adams before game. So that's one of the places we suggested. We did go by the Palace last week. It is still just boarded up. So there definitely seems to be no way that it will be ready for the season. Hey,
keep going.
I just kept going. You can decide if you want to keep that or not. Now you can't hear me?
You didn't keep going?
I did keep going.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
All right, we got a lot of technical difficulties still going on. Crusty old guy got a microphone. Tried plugging in the microphone, but now I need headphones and everything, so I haven't been able to figure it out. So maybe I put a double whammy all over our place. I am unsure. Yes, I continued to go on. We talked a little Shesterkin. I told them where to come find us on opening day. I told them we would be going for Mexican food.
Absolutely.
There was a little dead air in there that I think your listeners are pretty aware that I'm just not a professional. Um, I had a little stage fright out there with you being gone. I got a little scared. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, just all of a sudden, screen went blank. That's a little
So,
frightening.
so we are ready to go on to the next subject. We are
Which
done with the NHL.
love
We
it.
have talked about a little bit of opening day. Are we going to Rockford first, the big club first?
We're gonna go to Rockford first. We save the best for last. But before we get to Rockford, if you are going to a game this season, be it Chicago, be it Rockford, be it our friends in Indy, be it our friends out in Geneva who just called me to remind me to get tickets if I wanted to for this year today. Please wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play, especially if you don't know where your seats are. If it's your first time at a game, that's amazing. Just wait for the whistle before you go to your seats. Ask the nice United Center employee or just a crotchety old man sitting in the aisles, hey, where's our seat? And we are happily more inclined to help if you have waited for the whistle. We'll be nice. But if you're coming up with the 6 beers while the play is going on, I'm not gonna lie, we might be a little grumpy, especially if we're down 3-0. So folks, just wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. Now we can get into Rockford.
No, we're not gonna. Now I'm gonna. Also, I did mention the hockey CD, and now I'm gonna mention if any of your listeners can figure out the one song for a Seth Jones and the one song for a Kyle Davidson, and they're the first ones to report in, they will get either a Hockey Princess shirt or last year's organically grown since 2023 shirt. Both unbelievable fashion statements.
Oh, now I'm looking. Oh, I know which one.
All right.
All right, let's get into
Yes,
Rockford.
you're not allowed to play.
I know, I'm well aware. Anyway, guys, it's a very exciting week because we're going to Rockford on Saturday. Woo, woo. I'm very excited. I'm more excited than Krusty, but that's because I get to see Sam Savoy on the ice, and I don't have to watch his games in French anymore, and that's great. Because
Well,
yes,
one of the reasons Crusty Old Guy is so upset is I'm going to put up another speed bump and I'm going to get into it. Crusty Old Guy in the last 15 years has maybe not watched 2 games. It will be impossible for me to watch Saturday's Blackhawk game because I am on Comcast. Even if I get myself an antenna, there's no way to record the game. So, because of the mismanagement by the Blackhawk office, this will be one of the first games that I've ever not seen, not be able to comment on. It's just piss poor. Very upset about it. Jamie's back in the corner. Jamie gets out for a second just because all of a sudden, I'm a loving, caring guy. But she does something to put herself right back in the corner. I don't get it.
does our legendary GT know how to get it? Our game?
I don't know about once they're done. I am sure there's a way, but everything then becomes sketchy over the internet, and I'm not putting my computer through that. So I will. What I don't like to do is rely on the eyes of others. We'll get into that when we talk about the Hawks game. So there we go. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a little upset to be going to Rockford. I'm very happy to be going for opening day. This is the young group. This is the new and up and comers. We're expecting a ton of energy. If prospect camp
Especially
showed
because
us
there's a lot
anything,
of surprise guys that will be down in Rockford for the start of Rockford season that some of us didn't fully anticipate them being down in Rockford, and some of us, it was a will they or won't they sort of thing.
Yep. But carry on there, Hockey Princess.
Sorry, you won't be able to watch the game, but thank you for going to Rockford with me. But I'm excited because I get to watch Sam Savoy, and I don't have to watch it in French anymore. Because guys, I don't know if you've tried to watch a game in another language, it's really difficult. Not like just watching, but like listening. You don't understand. A lot of French guys have the same last names, and gosh, it's different now. I'm very excited. So we've got a couple. Yes.
I told you better get a counter. Will we be able to watch recorded Rockford games this year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely thing. So the minors got it going on. Majors, not so much.
So the AHL has switched. Last year they were on AHL TV, which you could do like a monthly subscription, a season subscription, or you could just choose to watch a game. That is the same as the CHL. So the CHL also has it together more than the Blackhawks front office. The AHL has then decided to switch this season to Flow Hockey, which I'm fine with. It's a little bit pricier, but you get AHL, you get ECHL, you get USHL, and you get like 10 other junior teams too. I will not be watching all the junior teams, but I like the idea of being able to watch a ton of leagues under one subscription.
Very good. Yeah, crusty old guy is not going to watch much juniors. It leaves crusty old guy with a bad taste because I go to watch the junior game so I can watch one of our prospects, and then I see, oh, they're playing pretty good. But then there's another 10 kids out on the ice that are playing just as well that are all prospects of somebody else's team.
Yeah.
So I'm done winding myself up with that. I will concentrate on Rockford and I will concentrate on the big club.
When we can watch them.
Right. When we can watch them. I guess, we're channeling, old man words. And, they live for the season ticket holder who will go to the game. All right. I think your people are sick and tired of listening to me whine and bitch. Do you have the time to listen to me whine?
No.
About everything and nothing all at once?
All right. And on that note, guys, Rockford should be entertaining. First game's on Saturday. They play the Grand Rapids Griffins. I'm expected that Comesso will get the starting net for it, just based off of preseason and based off of the fact that he will be your next number one goalie in the future. We're not going to put a timeline on it, but in the future, there's Comesso. We got a couple of additions, a couple of subtractions. It's a lot of math down there. Kevin Korchinski was sent down to the Rockford Icehogs to start the beginning of the season. Nolan Allen will probably not be there unless he gets sent down, after like Winnipeg's game on Thursday or Friday, whenever they play Winnipeg. Which I definitely expected him to be down there for Rockford come Saturday, but great for him for being able to make his NHL debut. Love that for the kid, but we'll get to that later. I believe Artie is still projected to not be there for the first game. I think it's a couple of more weeks, which, like we've been saying since the injury came out, that is fine. There really is not a cause for concern. As long as Anders Sorensen isn't worried about it, I'm not worried about it either. The kid's got a lot of time. We're going to give this kid a lot of time. We're not going to rush him. So he is fine. I imagine defensively, it'll be a hot mixture between new kids and veterans that they have, similar to last year, just a couple of new faces. Forwards, you've got Slagger, you've got NASCAR, you've got my dream third line, all starting down in Rockford this year. I imagine guys like Doc, even Gut Punch are going to get more top 6 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. But it's going to be really entertaining.
It is. That forward group should be a lot of fun. You've got EDM and Core being down there. That should be one heck of a pairing. You've heard it here first. Kyle Davidson told you everybody has to earn their spot
Yep.
on the team. So obviously, Lucas Reichel played better than Mr. Doc. I didn't see it, but Kyle saw it. Kyle said Lucas Reichel deserves the spot and Doc does not. I'm here to say that is a pile of shit. If you were choosing just on flat out who deserved it more coming out of preseason, that was definitely Colton Doc.
Sure.
We'll talk about this later, huh?
Yeah, I think there's other forwards that honestly played better than either of them. I mean, in my opinion, I saw more out of Ludwinski than I saw out of Doc. And I love Colton, don't get me wrong, but there were other players that I definitely saw more out of than those two. I don't think it matters to Kyle. I think Kyle's too chicken to put Lucas Reichel on waivers.
Yes, that's what it is. I mean, he will probably lose him then. And you've lost enough. I really don't think Lucas is going to make it anyways, but that's neither here nor there. That was just, another thing for me to whine about. Again, if Colton Doc's more in the future, you want him in Rockford anyways. You definitely don't want him in the press box, whereas Lucas has started. So,
well, even if Colton did play great during preseason, which I do agree that he did, I mean, could it be possible that Kyle just wants him down to play with NASCAR to help with NASCAR's development a bit more?
Oh, I think there's something to be said for letting them all jail together. But the double speak of constantly everybody's going to earn. I just don't like when he just sits there and lies to everybody's face, figuring they're too stupid to know the difference.
Isn't that what man?
Because some might be, but the people that listen to this show aren't.
We're different.
That's right.
But yeah, Rockford should be entertaining. I'm very excited. We'll have a big report after. Should be pretty entertaining also because I think the Grand Rapids Griffins are a little bit in roster mayhem, not completely, but I don't think that their roster is as confident as it was last year. So again, everything's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and no, there's a lot more pressure on the kids. There's an expectation level down in Rockford that they need to be competing for a Calder and everything. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be unbelievably entertaining hockey most of the year in Rockford. You're going to see a lot of energetic kids, man. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the big league. Guys, we have a game to talk about. They really only played 40 minutes of it, but a game nonetheless. Blackhawks fall to the Utah Hockey Club 5-2 last night. Mrazek was in net. My 3 stars, in truly no particular order. These are just the guys that I saw care the most when a lot of veteran players decided to just mail it in for the first game. And that is your Philip Kurashev, your Teuvo Teravainen, and your Connor Murphy getting into a bit of a scuffle.
Yes, they took exception for him hitting their captain after their captain then basically ripped his helmet off and tried to throw him in the ground. Somebody else still had to come in there and then get knuckle sandwiches from Murph. Yeah, I am not going to say a lack of effort. The problem last year were many. One of them was this team does not start on time, and they didn't start on time again. The other problem with this ball club is they are unbelievably loosey goosey with the puck by each blue line, meaning they can't get it in and they struggle to get it out. And that was very apparent again last night. Um, but I saw no quit in the team. They came back and played two pretty darn good periods. Veterans, everybody, there was nobody that I would look at and say they gave me nothing. Um, maybe the guy who started out on the Bedard line who went down to the fourth line, maybe him a little bit, but when he got moved, that's Medej. Who is that? Mina Chuki Miga Huka.
Mikiev.
Yes, is that how you say it? Can
Yeah.
I just call him Mickey Mouse? He is now Mickey Mouse. Okay, so Mickey Mouse, he had an opportunity to play on the top line. It just didn't mesh very well. Um, Unfortunately, what we found out in game one is one of the best people to play on Connor's wing is unfortunately a 36-year-old Dick Foligno. Um, it it's a fact. They played better when he was there all the time this year. I am behind the whole process of seeing what Kerr can do as a second line center. I am in on that. So I am not one who's are automatically going, listen, Pakurashev, Tavo, and Bedard together. You need to start figuring out where people are going to slot in 2 more years. Kurashev becomes a huge piece if he can play center in this league. And I think it's possible. I think, again, he'll have the same thing with Bedard. He's going to need some big, strong wingers then with him. But he's definitely got the ability. So I like that. Taylor Hall at times had some good jump. So you're not going to be able to rely on him the whole time. Tavo, I thought, he was good, he was bad, but he's gifted. He can play with Connor. There's really nobody else on this team besides Kershev, and as we find out, Foligno, that really can play with him to where you can start to maximize his abilities. So I didn't mind the effort in the last 2 periods.
I didn't mind the effort in the last two periods. My biggest issue was the first 20 minutes.
Oh, it was dog shit. They
Yeah,
had
that was my biggest complaint. Not that I thought, and especially the third period, I thought the effort was definitely above par and better than we saw last year. My thing was it's the first game of the season. How you go out for that first period with that negative level of effort.
Yeah, and again, one of the reasons why I don't like to get input from other people is what I saw in the first period. I saw one person putting pedal to the metal, and that was number 4. And I already got it from other sources that they thought he was playing like a 40-year-old man. Um, if Kyle is going to decide to move him, he's going to put himself in a good position to get moved. That I can tell you. We had nothing but power play problems. And the one that really frosted my nuts was the entry where Seth just goes. He's thinking about doing the slingshot drop pass, and he knows they're all waiting for it. He takes the puck all the way into the zone. He goes to curl in the zone, and there's not one single forward in the zone. There is nobody to pass the puck to in the zone. That is a structure problem. That's a freaking nightmare. There's no reason. He's supposed to read that. And if they're all waiting on that drop pass, he's supposed to bring it in. But these forwards are supposed to be then coming into the zone.
Is that a them problem or is that a Derek King problem?
I don't know. Everybody's going to be yelling for King's head.
No, it's just a genuine. At what point, and this is, we'll put it bigger than just the Chicago Blackhawks right now. The power play has been struggling all of last year. Well, for a decent portion of last year, and probably even beyond that. At what point Is it the players on the ice versus the coach who's running the power play?
I think what the way it is this year is it's the coaches period.
Okay.
You're in year two, it's on them. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you yank them off and you bring somebody else in. But I understand that they haven't worked a ton on it, but that needs to be
Heard
cleared
that.
up because that's Seth's job.
Yeah.
His is to read and see if that drop pass is available. And if it's not, there's got to be two other forwards then coming over the blue line as he comes over the blue line. He's leading the rush 10 times last night. And half the time he's got no option after he gets into the zone. Um, I would assume he was very unhappy after the game.
Makes sense.
Um, Everybody's got to get in line and it's move, got to go. So that was the one other big problem. The power play is a problem. I don't know exactly how you fix it. They're trying to get it to go through Connor Bedard, but Connor Bedard is also your shooter. So I think your facilitator is going to need to be Tavo on that power play.
And
So,
I think that's definitely within Tavo's wheelhouse. I think it just needs to be communicated completely.
oh yeah, it's definitely in Tavo's wheelhouse. So I would assume you'll hear a lot of screaming and yelling for King's job if the power play does not get going this year. So um
I was just curious because I'm not one. I mean, who am I kidding? Yes, I am, but I try not to. We're all working on things. I try not to call for people's heads too early. But at what point is it
yeah,
them
as I said, you're now in
making
year
mistakes?
two. I heard a lot about we got a lot of new faces, blah blah blah. Blah.
But
They've all
we
been playing
really
hockey.
didn't.
They've all been playing hockey for a long time. We're probably one of the oldest teams in the league. So please, this is a little shout out to anybody who's on the national cruise that's going to be doing like our 20 something national games. This is not a young team. This is an old team with three young players. That's it. Okay. So don't tell me that this is a young learning team. No, it's a seasoned veteran team. I understand not the most skilled, but I expect them to be structurally sound. So, but no, I think Luke's in the hot seat. Derek King's in the hot seat. Again, the other talk about King is just he wasn't chosen by Luke. He was told to Luke that you were keeping him. So with that, I also have a major league problem because I'm very worried that I've got KD putting his hands in way too much stuff of how he wants things done at the big club, and you just sit back and do your trades. Let the hockey people handle the rest of the hockey stuff.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah. No, I get it.
so um, I just think he's going to micromanage that and heck. But again, it's one game
Yeah.
that they were in a position to win. They hit a bunch of posts in the third. That's the first thing everybody's going to say. One of those goes in. They had their opportunities. They played with juice the last two periods. So, again, we'll see where it goes. Unfortunately, it just gets a lot harder.
Yeah.
Um, so those next two games, you know, those are two teams that really have our number. I mean, Edmonton usually takes it easy on us, but Winnipeg usually buries us. So,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on the Nolan Allen?
Love it. Love it. Love it. Very happy to see. I wasn't expecting a ton just because I'm not gonna come out here and critique the guy's NHL debut up the wazoo because I think that's a little ridiculous. But I think it was definitely good for first NHL game. I'm definitely okay if he stays up here because he's had time in juniors, he's had time in Rockford, and I mean, at the end of the day, I don't like it's finding that medium of I don't want guys rushed, but if they have a good camp, they have a good camp. Why not? So I'm
Yeah,
down.
I mean, there's a spot for him. He will be one of the few that I'll lay off of. This is his first season up here. He gets a pass from me. The Beacon of Hope doesn't get any more passes. I expect things, and granted, I don't know what Sergachev was doing on the Tavo goal, but I really thought that Bedard was going to be headless because he had him right there. He, I don't see how he missed him unless he just pulled up, which I'm figuring he might have.
Yeah.
This is a, NHL, he's on the Mount Rushmore of NHL right now. He's one of your top 5 selling points. And being as big as Sergachev is, maybe he just thought, if I go for a hit, I'm going to hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Maybe he just laid up, but that was some bad optics that Connor got around him, but then made a really great play. So, Nolan I'll just lay off of. I thought he was fine out there.
Yeah. Like it wasn't, oh my God, extra spectacular, but I mean, he played good hockey in its first season. Really didn't go in with any sort of expectation. I think I was too busy critiquing some of the veteran defensemen to really notice the flaws that he had in the game. But I hope he stays up for a bit.
Yeah, I'm debating on whether to break out my notebook this year and go through my critiquing, which for me is a simple thing. I grab like 3 players, and I just do a plus and minus for every shift. They either for their shift get a minus, a plus, or nothing, and then I just tabulate it at the end of the night. Who's in the negative? I figure is being a negative. If somebody's in the positive, but that's a lot of work for crusty old guy. He used to do that when he was a younger fan, just because he was stupid and
And bored.
um, yeah. I mean, Brody was, I don't know, it was okay.
Brody though, not Brody though. Can we talk about Vlasic getting a goal? Heck yeah, buddy.
Yes, and I thought Vlasic was part of the problem in the first. He
And
looked
everybody was
slow,
the problem in the first.
but yeah, I mean they all were. But yeah, but there was a good pairing of him and Seth to try to come back. Yeah, the pickle with some really good plays. Again, Foligno right where he's supposed to be, getting the tip. It's what you want to see.
It
Um,
it bums me out. Like I understand that, Brody and Martinez have to be partnered with Seth and Vlasic. Um, but gosh, it bums me so much to not see the two of them play together. Because
yeah,
it
you
just
just
works. It works nicely. They gel and it works. And it's just a bummer is the best way I can
yeah.
put it.
It's just I mean it's a pairing that Luke will go to when he needs to come back a little bit, but he needs each of them to anchor their own defensive pairing. It's a tall ask for the pickle, one that I'm sure he is up for.
Yeah.
The only other thing to talk about is Isaac Phillips. Isaac Phillips cleared waivers and then was not
On a,
sent to.
on a
Huh?
very busy day. On a very, very busy waiver day. I think Chicago did that intentionally. Um, I mean, not sending Isaiah Phillips down on waivers, but on that particular day, because there were pretty much every team was sending multiple players down on waivers that day.
Right, and it was a very smart move by KD because as I found out later, sending him down there, They now have, since it was the beginning of the year, 30 days that they can send him down. He's already cleared waivers. They have a 30-day grace period. So in 2 weeks, if Kaiser's ready and they decide they want Kaiser to get some time up there, they just send him down to Rockford. He doesn't have to re-clear. He's already cleared for the month.
Big brain.
I did not know that. I thought it was an automatic send down, or else you reload again. It was pointed out to me that no, it's a 30-day thing. So kudos to KD. Again, we're nitpicking about a guy who we don't know if is ever going to make it or not. He's somebody on this show that we kind of like.
Yeah.
But it was a darn good maneuver to do it on that busy of a day. Now he's got 30 days, and if he sends him down, there's no repercussions. So it works out real well for them. Obviously they've got juice behind Kaiser. I believe so. So we'll see where that goes. I mean, nothing last night tells me that Brody and Martinez are going to play a lot of hockey games.
It was bad.
Well, some of it was bad. Then Martinez didn't look bad. Brody at times, they're really old. I just don't see it working. They're also at that age where a bump and bruise is one thing.
A lot more.
It's a lot more for them, and they can't afford to be that even another half step slower. So, we'll see. But I wanted to tell your listeners about the Isaac Phillip thing because that was something I didn't know.
That's a big brain.
That's right. So listen up. That was something I didn't know. You could record this right now, play it for your friends. They won't believe it.
Oh my goodness. You got anything else going into the end of this week, beginning of next week?
No, we've got 2 games left. When do we play Calgary? Is that before or after we record next week?
Good question.
Gosh, we're supposed to know the schedule and everything.
I just know that we play Calgary, Buffalo, and San Jose next week.
Right. I think Calgary is Tuesday, so I don't know if we are recording before or after that. Odds are good. That is probably the first time we can start to think about a win. It's going to be some rough sauce over the weekend. They will also be playing back-to-back against Edmonton and Winnipeg. So, again, I'm sure everybody was able to at least watch that game. Yeah. Hopefully this Comcast thing is taken care of in the next day or two and we don't have any problems and everything. Crusty Old Guy can tape the game. And I'm
going to be hearing about it during the entirety of the Rockford game.
You will not be. I will not bring in my anger down there. That is, I will be cheering and yelling for the young kids.
Absolutely, because Rockford's a ton of fun.
Yes.
Very, very fun. All right. Just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube.
Leave us a review.
Leave us a review.
Somebody yell about me.
Tell us how you liked our Monday episode, guys. We're up to 2 shows a week now because we're so cool like that. If you're going to a game this week or next week or at some point during the season, please wait for the whistle. That is all, and we will talk at you guys next week.